Hey guys. So today I was walking at the beach and I saw a lady laying down, and I'm gonna be really frank, she didn't look nice. Not nice at all. She was very overweight, she looked very unhealthy. And I observed a lot of judgment towards her within me. I was maybe even like looking down on her somehow, just like I all these judgments were present in me. And then I started thinking about whether or not that makes me a bad person. If I judge this woman that I don't know based on my first impressions of who she is, right? You can see someone and assume loads of things about this person and then cast a judgment about them. And I was thinking about whether or not that makes me a bad person. And at first I was like, maybe it does, because it's not really kind towards this person, and I aim to be a compassionate, understanding, non-judgmental person myself. And if I'm casting a judgment towards someone else based on what they look like, then maybe that means I'm not really a nice person. But then I start thinking more about this, and I realize that first of all, it's just thoughts that arise. So I am not my thoughts. The fact that I think something about a person based on how they look is not a bad thing. I'm not causing anyone harm. I'm not doing anything bad. I'm just, these thoughts come and I observe them and I'm aware that I have judgments towards this person. And then I continue to think, like, what if I had been put on an island with this woman and I would be somewhat forced to get to know her and get along with her? Probably I would be interested in who she is, and I would want to learn about her life, and I would find loads of things that I like about her. Or maybe not at all. Maybe she's a person that I absolutely don't get along with and whose values are completely not aligned with my values, and maybe she is a really nasty person. I don't know, right? I don't know. I know nothing about her. Only what she looks like when she's laying down on the beach and I walk past. So I know nothing about this person. So if I know nothing about this person, then the judgments that I generate towards her are my judgments, are most likely the judgments I hold towards myself. Okay? So there's that. If you have a judgment towards another person, there is a high chance that this judgment is actually a judgment that you hold towards yourself, because a completely different person from me can walk past this woman and have a totally different judgment about her based on their own experiences, their own life, their own struggles, whatever, right? They might think, wow, what a wonderful woman, she is so brave to lay here on the beach exposing every part of her body, and she totally doesn't feel insecure about that. Might be another judgment of another person. It is still some form of judgment. It's just more like a positive judgment. All right. So I hold a lot of judgments towards myself, against looking unhealthy, against looking like I don't take care of my body. These are judgments that I hold about against myself. Right. I struggle a lot with eating disorders in my life, still do, and there is a lot of emphasis I put on the body, because in my opinion, it plays a very big role in our well-being. The body holds so much wisdom, and if we don't treat it with care and respect, then we, at least that's how I see things, we don't treat ourselves with care and respect. And so I kind of judge that in myself, and so I judge that in others, right? So the fact that I do that doesn't make me a bad person. It shows me something about my own judgments toward myself, and so I can work with this stuff. That's the first thing. Then the second part is, I was thinking, is it bad that I have an initial judgment about someone that I don't know? Is that a bad thing? Well, maybe, but maybe also not, because it might protect me from a person who might potentially harm me. There is a reason why we have these automatic mechanisms regarding feeling into another person's energy or their appearance or things like this. a judgment, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because I am absolutely 100% willing to change my mind about this judgment based on new information that I might acquire about this person, right? Let's say I start talking to them and I realize, wow, they're super fascinating and really interesting. Now all of a sudden this judgment changes. And that's actually a really beautiful process if you can change your mind about someone. I think that's really authentic. It's really true. And when people say I'm totally non-judgmental and I have no judgments towards others, I don't know if they're actually being really honest or maybe even unaware. I know I have been unaware about judgments that I have towards myself and that I cast upon others, and then don't want to admit that this is the truth. And now I want to actually explore the truth, which is I judge this person based on how they look. Is that bad? And if I get the opportunity to move into the, the maybe the paradox here, right? I aim to be a kind, compassionate, non-judgmental person, yet I still judge. Both things can be true at the same time. I can aim to be this person and still have judgments and still believe that they are useful, right? Because it also, how do I say this? Like, I am learning that it's okay to not trust everyone from the get-go. It's good to not trust immediately. It's okay, because it's actually keeping you safe. If you would go on trusting everyone blindly, you probably will run into problems at some point, because there are people who want to take advantage of you, or there are people who can be harmful even without them knowing. They can be subconsciously harmful to you. So mistrust and judgment can be some form of protection mechanism that keeps you safe. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, especially because I am also 100% okay with people judging me based on what I look like or how I behave. I am sure there is loads of people who look at me and judge me so harshly. They think what a stupid ass prick I am, or arrogant dude. I don't know. Many judgments, right? And that's okay. I'm totally fine with that, because first of all, they don't know me, so they just it's just projections. It's just projections, just like I am projecting onto this person. So the initial judgments you have, they are based on very little information, maybe some energetic impression, but most of it is projections, judgments we have towards ourselves that we project onto others. And so I am completely comfortable with a person judging me at first sight, and even after getting to know me, it's still fine that they judge me for things, because again, it's most likely something within the other person. It's never personal. And even if it is, it still isn't personal. And that is also something that I'm really learning these days, is that sometimes I can really think that a person's response towards me or their judgments towards me is personal, like because it's me specifically. But it's not at all the case. It's because I embody a specific energy that their identity or their ego has some resonance with, maybe in a negative space or in a positive space. It can also be positive projections, right? Like a person, oh, they like to hang out with me because I make them feel empowered or I make them feel good, but it's because they are empowering themselves in my presence, right? So the taking credit for anything, it's really, I mean, both are true. You can take credit for something because it's your doing, and you can also absolutely take zero credit for it because it's not at all your doing. It's literally just the other person's doing. And I came to the conclusion by thinking more about this judgment topic that no, I'm not a bad person for having judgments about people. I'm not a bad person whatsoever. I'm not intentionally going towards her and telling her, oh, you're an ugly woman, how dare you lay here on the beach. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm doing. I just observe, oh, I have some judgment. I walk past and I think about it. So it's not bad at all. And I think that understanding that there is many layers to our personalities, and that life is inherently about paradoxes. You can want to be a certain way and still struggle with being that way. That doesn't make you lie about the fact that you want to be this person, right? Like, actions speak louder than words. Well, yes, and at the same time, sometimes there is a part of you that doesn't want to take the action, or a part of you that is feeling like you want to rebel against that, and they can both be true at the same time, right? So I'm really learning that whatever I think, it's not who I am. And if I have violent thoughts or judgments or negative fantasies, whatever it may be, that doesn't make me a bad person. And even if I sometimes act from a place of unconsciousness or ignorance, still doesn't make me a bad person. And even if I would be temporarily a bad person, then I can still change and learn from the things that I did, right? So it's all about, I don't know, at least for me, accepting myself where I'm at, allowing space to observe, allowing space to let things happen naturally, and not immediately judge myself, right? Because that's also, I judge and then I judge myself, and so there's more judgment. And so if you stop that cycle and you take a moment, okay, is it is it is it okay that I judge? I think yes, because I'm also totally okay with another person judging me. And so if you follow the golden rule, don't treat others the way you want to be treated, I can absolutely allow and accept a person judging me initially, or even after a while. Because honestly, I think it's also a really nice experience to move through witnessing a transformation of the judgment, right? You can get to know someone, and after a while you're like, wow, this person is great. I didn't expect that at all. They're so interesting, and the more I look at them, the more beautiful I think they become. That's great. It's a beautiful experience. It's true. It's honest. It's not bad. And the fact that you had a harsh judgment initially facilitates this experience, because if you would have this wonderful thought about who they are, that it can work the opposite way, right? You can look at someone and you're, oh, so beautiful, and you have all these projections onto them because they're beautiful and they're successful and whatever, and you feel like, oh, wow, they're so amazing. And then you get to know them in person and you're like, what the hell? This person is so not what I thought they were, because you were idolizing them because they are celebrities or whatever, you know, successful people, and you project so many good things onto them because you want to be successful, and you think that if you become that, you'll be a good person, so you assume that they are a good person. But maybe they're not at all, and maybe you really don't like them at all, and maybe you like the ugly woman that's laying on the beach after getting to know her way more than this extremely beautiful person that you meet somewhere else. And that's fantastic. It's great. It's an honest, authentic human experience. So I got really excited about this topic, and I feel a little bit, you know, maybe guilty or ashamed about admitting that I do judge other people. Yeah, I do judge them, sometimes very harshly, because I do judge myself very harshly. And that's not to justify that, it's just the truth. And I also have the intention to work with that judgment and to accept these parts within myself, so I can look at this person and be like, I accept you fully and totally and utterly. And sometimes it takes some time to accept. At least for me, I can feel a certain way or have some judgments about myself and resist accepting that. Oh, I'm feeling like this, I don't want to. Or, oh, I am like this, I don't want to be like this. And then I need some time to sit through these feelings, and then at some point I'm like, okay, I can accept it now. But it takes some time. So the initial judgment is there, and then after a while I can be like, well, actually, now that I think about it, this woman, she was just chilling. She was just chilling on the beach, having a good time. How great! So cool. I hope she has a good time, right? So I already feel different towards her now by reflecting on it. So I hope that this, like, real-time reflection can somehow be valuable to you. It's a big topic in my life. The awareness of judgment towards others and myself, And I feel like the more I work on releasing the judgments towards myself, the more I can be non-judgmental towards others as well. And sometimes it can happen the other way around, when you get to know a person that you really love deeply and you open yourself up, and they can accept parts in you that you can't really accept yet, but their generosity towards these parts of you allows you, gives you some kind of like permission to accept them more. So there's work in both ways. It's not only just your own doing. I think it's also, you can meet people who can absolutely support you in that. And I have these people in my life, and they're absolutely wonderful, and I love them to bits. And they are changing me as we speak, and I am eternally grateful for that, for their support, and yeah, for walking this wonderful journey together. Anyways, I hope it was somewhat helpful, this rambling. I felt inspired to talk about this topic. I hope you're all well wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.